The search continues for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, missing since February 1st after being dropped off at her Tucson area home. Huge breakthrough yesterday as the FBI released surveillance images from the Nest camera that they thought were lost. They have the technology to do so, and it takes time. Katie was saying off the air.
Well, I think that everybody's gut reaction is, oh, well, these photos and this video would have been nice to have, when the Guthries are pleading on television. The thing is, that Nancy Guthrie did not pay for the subscription to the Nest cameras, and so it just writes over itself. And so that footage had to be somehow
they would have to go to the company.
Yeah, they had to obtain the FBI. Once the FBI got involved, they had to jump through a million privacy law hoops to be able to get these images and these videos from this major cloud,
Yeah, is she too poor to get their subscription?
But there's lots of people who have the cameras who just don't subscribe. Okay. There's tons of people who do that, or maybe the subscription lapsed. Like who knows why they don't have it.
Oddly and ironically, or whatever the right term would be, lives in a very safe area, a safe rural. You don't drive by her house. It's not a house you just drive by. You
can also
go directly to it.
See that doorbell being something that her kids made her put up that she has no interest in.
Or that doesn't even know what it does or cares about or any of it. But one of the things, and this is from the Unexpected Spy, the Instagram account that I follow. She's a former FBI agent and former law enforcement. And she said, we should be very glad that it took this long to get the images because those privacy laws protect you. And the fact that they exist. People think when these things, go off and they, they're deleted or, they don't exist or I don't pay for the subscription. You can see now, you can always get the footage. It just takes time to get through those hoops, which are in place to protect us.
So exactly.
They weren't sitting on these images. They weren't holding them. They weren't waiting until whatever time they thought was right. It just takes a while to get it.
And if she had the subscription, it's not like we're not blaming her. We would have had it the first day, but she didn't.
But she didn't.
And I didn't know Google owns Nest, and so Google complied or they made it happen. With all the different things. So Nancy Grace. She was on TV last night, and then we're going to talk to our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, as well, talking about the footage, and then we're going to talk about the person of interest that was detained and has since been released already. So here we go.
He came prepared, full on ski mask, wrists covered, face covered, hands covered, trying to cover the Nest camera, the door cam. Keep looking. This could be the break we've all been waiting for. Here he comes, walking up. And is that a gun he's got tucked into his waistband? Do you see how he's holding his face down? Can we zoom in and get the shoes? We can get his height.
Yeah, this is Nancy Grace going through all of the surveillance stills and video on her show. So she's kind of watching it, not in real time because she had already seen it, but she's breaking it down for those of us. And by the way, if you have not seen the photos or the footage, you can find that on our social media because that's on there as well.
I mean, it's hard to tell who the hell that is, but I guess they can try to maybe what he was wearing and try to find something like that in somebody's home that they didn't get rid of or in a dumpster or something.
Yeah, and then also, if there was multiple photos of Katie in a ski mask, be like, that's Katie. Like, if you know the person,
yeah,
you think?
I think
I don't know.
Everything was covered though.
The black or the fact that it's the nighttime really throws me.
But as far as the walking and the body shape and all that stuff, I think we'd be like, or maybe think, oh, that looks like if it was in this area. Yeah. And if somebody that you knew really well, you might think, oh my gosh, that's so and so.
If you mean out of a lineup,
or if you saw it on TV, like if I saw and let's say that was Katie or Jason or Matt, I would, because the size and just knowing you guys really well, I'd be like, that looks like Jason's eyes, and I think it's enough.
Do you because I thought there was just the photos. Do they have actual video?
Videos,
they
like walking around.
Yeah, that's on there.
And Jason, the video is odd because it goes up. Well, he walks up. We do have let's talk to Lisa Lanier real quick. We have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier.
Hey,
let's
Lisa.
welcome her real quick. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. You know what's wild about that camera footage is a lot of us think or thought up to now that if you don't pay for the subscription, they're not saving your data. But obviously they are.
Yeah. Boy, are you wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I mean, that in and of itself has kind of a weird vibe to it. Like, wow, they're storing my data even when I'm not subscribing. But yeah, thank goodness they got it. And so many people are putting up side by side the image of the masked guy, next to Tommaso and the brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying it really looks like him, that it looks like he has a mustache. It looks like he has kind of bigger eyebrows that have been manicured down a bit. And who knows? I don't know. I was curious what you all thought about that. Have you seen the side-by-side of that, and do you think it looks like him?
I've seen that, and then one that's even more so than that is Jason Goodman. No, is more so than that is apparently a band member of Tommaso.
Tommaso is the brother
in the band. Looks just, because a little more feminine in the face and has the facial hair. Some people have done side by side, and that's, obviously, if either one of them is unfair, but people are just trying to figure stuff out. The side by side, I think, even more so.
With the bandmate.
With the bandmate.
Yeah.
With the bandmate.
Yeah.
Well, in this, a bunch of things are happening at the same time. I think we're going to continue to see this evolve probably all throughout the day because, as we know, a delivery man, Carlos Pasazuelos, he was arrested. He was put in cuffs. His home was basically invaded by agents that broke his door down and came in, and they took his phone, his wife's phone. He lives with his mother-in-law and father-in-law. They took their phones. They took his kids' phones. They took his sister-in-law's phone, and they're analyzing all that data. This was based on a tip that came in, so they obtained a search warrant, and they went hard on his house in Rio Rico, which is about an hour away from the site, the crime scene. And it's really not clear. He absolutely denied. There's a video interview of him with him, and he denies it.
We do have a short clip of that real quick.
Oh, good.
So right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the thing, where he said that he had not even heard of this. And I thought, that can't even be possible because you would have to live under a rock, right, not to have heard about this. But over breakfast this morning, I asked my 17-year-old, I'm like, have you heard about this case? And blah, blah. And he's like, no, I think I heard you talking about it with your friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa,
So, people are oblivious, I guess, some people.
Well, and just to kind of drive that home a little bit, it is shocking to us for sure because you and I won't say you and I, we all love true crime.
Yes.
The fact that it's happening and we're covering it minute by minute, it feels like we are invested. But when we heard the mother-in-law of Carlos, the man we just heard, the suspect, I believe her 150% that she does not know who Nancy Guthrie is. This is the mother-in-law of the man who was arrested, who police thought was a suspect.
Oh, no, they came out telling us that they had somebody gave a tip that the lady was in my house. I don't know her name. ¿Cómo se llama? Nancy Guthrie. That we don't know. We don't know her. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house. And I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. There's nobody in my house. And I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely believe her.
I do. And they said, well, you haven't seen her on Facebook? And we'll paraphrase, but she goes, yeah, I did, but I don't know her, so I just kept scrolling.
Yeah, she's like, she's so honest. Like, I just kept, she did the hand motion. I just keep scrolling.
I scroll, and I
bet you Facebook knows how long she scrolled past that.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But
they
she was
They can
so
corroborate
believable.
that remark.
Yeah.
Right.
So
at the same time, right, the SWAT teams are mobilized, right? So that's going on. So you've got this guy, the delivery man, Carlos, being detained, and then now he's been released. You've got SWAT teams. They're rolling out. In the last 24 to 48 hours, you've seen really intense investigation, escalation of the investigation around Annie Guthrie's home. You've seen neighbors, they're going door to door in Annie Guthrie's. So again, it gives us the impression that Tommaso is probably still a big suspect. They won't say that officially, but obviously, they really have intensified in their neighborhood. And so you've got that going on at the same time. And then what really might be the biggest clue of all is that $152 worth of Bitcoin was transferred into the ransom account. Mm-hmm. Now, why was that? Because then any activity in the account, then when the owner of the account checks it, it actually, people think Bitcoin is not traceable, but it can be traced. And
right.
So that's like a bait kind of thing that they're putting out there now to try to trace who has access to this account. So I think we're going to see this all just a big bombshell come out of this very soon.
What do you mean? Sorry, Katie. What do you mean a band member, Tommaso? Who is that?
Tommaso is the son-in-law of Nancy and the brother-in-law of Savannah Guthrie.
Oh, so he's in a band.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And there's some, like a tagline for their band is not great. There's something about murder and stuff, but it's a band. I mean,
it's a band, and whatever kind of music they play is
probably a little heavier or whatever. Yeah. But then he has a bandmate that people are saying looks just like. Because at first, when it first came out, and you only saw the eyes, you're like, oh, that's a woman. Very feminine eyes and the eyebrows.
I'm so bad at this. I didn't get any of that.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's like
get woman.
all over social media. Woman.
I mean, on social media, I saw it, but just for me personally seeing it,
the eyes?
I didn't get any of that.
I didn't either.
The nighttime camera threw me. I didn't. I can't. People are focusing on his facial hair, and I think, well, yes, okay, but odds are if he has it in the video and he's spotted, he's going to shave it off. So then we're going to be looking for facial hair.
Yeah. But people who would know him would be like, oh, this is what he looks like.
I just couldn't get any of it.
I know. Yeah.
Why don't you do what you said you were going to do and post the video on Facebook?
It is on Facebook.
No, it's just photos. I don't see anything.
There's a link to
I hit it.
Within it.
I did.
I'll tell you
what. You have the OK Boomer thing ready?
I didn't see a woman there. I think because I kind of honed in on what looked like a mustache under the mask.
Yeah.
And just the build, I think, and the mannerisms and the walk. It's kind of a barrel-chested guy with small legs and a bigger, carries his weight in his upper body.
Well, and
his
plus,
gestures and things don't look his hands, don't look effeminate.
No. Yeah, when you see we actually showed the video part in the way he's walking. It's interesting because he walks up with his head down, like kind of knows the camera's there, but then thinks, oh, I need to get rid of this camera, even though he knew why would he be staring down, walking up?
Right.
And he had a flashlight, looks like a flashlight in his mouth. And a gun right where his crotch is, and the way it's faced, Katie was saying that would be a right-handed person. So all these clues. And then he goes and he grabs some, as Nancy Grace was calling it, foliage?
She kept calling
foliage?
She kept calling it foliage. And I'm like, Nancy!
It's like a plant. It's like a plant.
And,
right.
and no woman's, first of all, with violent crimes, it's very rare, but a woman's not going to be not prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like looking around.
Yeah, like, what can I use?
I'm going to use these little flowers to cover up the camera while I destroy it.
Right.
Odd.
Lisa, can I ask you, you mentioned for the Bitcoin, 150, because I had read that there was a deposit that was made. Is there a special reason why it was 152 and some change?
Yeah, so Bitcoin apparently, I don't know much about Bitcoin, but apparently, you give like 20,000 coins or whatever, and so they have an equivalent dollar value. And so I think the equivalency is kind of random that it was 152. I think they were looking to say, hey, let's give 100 Bitcoin or whatever it is.
Okay.
And then that's just what it translates to. Kind of like if you said, you're in Europe and you want to get 100 euros, it's going to translate to like, $130.
Sometimes there's fees involved. So you're like, we'll deposit 200, but then only 175 goes in or whatever.
Right.
Here is Nancy Grace continuing with the backpack, what she views that she thinks is a clue. In this case.
This is not just a robbery, just a burglary. Is this really a kidnap? I can tell you right now, nobody goes through all this to run in and grab your VCR. What has he got in the backpack? It is
Nancy.
Little antiquated, Nancy.
VCR, jeez.
I think she got caught up.
Yeah.
I think
my
she's been
God.
doing this forever.
Just say jewelry. Just say jewelry. Just say TV. Like if you're not sure. VCR.
Right. Chock full. What's in there? It's stuffed so much you can see when he turns around. He's not going in there to take anything. He's taking things in with him.
And then they say the make and model of the backpack could be a clue, depending, if it's very unique, then they can go back and see who bought it. But then again, if it's 10 years old, Katie was saying off the air.
What if it's like in the back of somebody's closet and they just grab it? I mean, I think
they're going to cover everything.
Yes, we're all grasping at straws, and I think that's how it should be. I think at one point, one of the reports, they said, now we need to go and we need to find out who sells these shoes, these pants, this jacket, and that backpack, and where did they buy it, and how long ago did they buy it, and which store sold every single one of them. And I was like, Okay.
Yeah.
Odds are he's just some clothes he threw on, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
My camera at night is still, actually, it's a sophisticated one. It still shows color.
It does?
Not the Ring one, but I have another one on the side. You can zoom in. It still shows color.
Have you seen the
That'd be helpful.
AI? I guess somebody put it into Chat GPT.
Oh, really?
And they put color behind or added color to it. And so that's pretty helpful.
Right.
But then
That's
I'm
the
like,
right
is
color.
it right? I don't
Is
know.
it right?
And tips are just pouring in now that they've released these videos. And people, and this is how people are caught. Is it somebody, like, there's some things about that backpack that are distinctive. And so somebody's like, hey, my neighbor has a backpack like that, or my husband has a backpack like that, and that's where all these, and I think that, a tip was what got this, Carlos, this delivery man, detained. He probably has delivered packages to her. I mean, he said that in one of the interviews. That's his area that he works. He works for one of those companies that subs out deliveries for big companies like FedEx and UPS, but they don't directly work for FedEx and UPS. And he delivers packages all in that area. In fact, he lives in that area Monday through Friday, in the area of the crime scene. He lives there in Tucson Monday through Friday, and then he comes home Fridays and stays till Monday with his family. And his mother-in-law said that he was absolutely at home the night that this happened, over the weekend on Saturday, and that he, when he was caught, and when he was apprehended, he was out. His wife DoorDashes, and he was riding around with her so he could visit with her while she DoorDashes.
I'll tell you one thing. Whoever because I couldn't see anything with Katie's post.
Jason, Lisa, you hear it here first. I'm going to murder Jason Goodman today. Okay, just let it be known.
You don't need an
this
FBI or anybody.
This dude doesn't do a damn thing for posting anything on our social
link.
media.
Anyways,
and then
the
it's
case will be solved instantly.
Yes, I'll solve it myself. I did it.
I did it. Play it back.
I just saw.
I strangled the life out of his neck with my bare hands.
I saw.
Just remember, cover up the Ring camera first.
She's going to do it in studio.
Yeah.
I just saw it finally because it's flashed on the TV. Whoever the guy they showed, his mouth and the little scuff that he has on the beard. I guess it was this. Maybe it was the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law looks like the mouth. It looks like the same mouth.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
They're
looking.
Breaking news from mouth expert Jason Goodman.
Yeah.
He is a mouth
He's a
expert.
mouth analyst.
Yeah.
Look at it, man.
One thing he knows is men's mouth.
That's
what I've heard.
It has the same. What do you call this? Scruff as that mouth.
Well, Nancy Grace talks a little bit about the facial hair.
In some of the pictures, you see facial hair over the lip. It looks like brunette facial hair. Can't tell exactly. From that, we are learning so much. Again, it almost looks feminine, except for what we think could be facial hair.
Yeah, and then they're saying this is helpful, the video and the pictures, because they can have the dimensions of the archway he walks through. And right now the guesstimations are just guesstimations at this point. 5'8" to 6 foot. Okay, that doesn't help 100%, but they're going to narrow that. They can actually narrow that down to almost a very specific, and they can figure out the size of his shoe when they find out the size of the tiles that are shown in the video. All these tips that are pretty fascinating.
I'm seeing the video now, and you're right, Jared. There's mannerisms, the way he walks and bends down. That could be very telling because everybody has their own way they kind of bend down and walk.
He's also very aware that the camera's there. So he's he's dodging big time. He's keeping his head down.
Right.
He's tucked. Yeah. And some are even saying that it looks like he is wearing multiple layers of clothing
and gloves.
And so, and the gloves, but they think it's like to be able to shed it. And then, I wasn't wearing that.
If they find that, there's DNA in it, I think.
Or make him look bigger than he is, although he doesn't look that, he's kind of sleight of frame, it appears. So Lisa, I think if the FBI weren't involved, we wouldn't have this footage. And I think, and that's no slight to any local law enforcement, they'd have the technology to get this.
No, thank God they're involved.
And the mechanisms by which to get it. It's just.
But they're not doing this on the regular, like a regular kidnapping. If it was just in this area, they're not going to do all what they're doing now and search septic tanks and all that. It's just because it's a celebrity and big news. They're not. That's kind of unfair.
I do think that it is, at least correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it will be technology that is one day more widely used. But there are the privacy laws, right, Lisa? I mean, that's the reason why. I mean, this is to protect us. We should be glad that not everybody has access to it.
No, I get that, but you're talking about searching septic tanks. I think
the average person that's kidnapped is not going to have the resources. Not Savannah Guthrie. She's not putting the money in.
No,
but to have the full force of the FBI, with her. I mean, maybe in some cases they do, but.
Well, if you listen to true crime, unfortunately, what we hear over and over and over is law enforcement almost reluctant to get involved right away and saying, well, she might have just gone away on her own. And that's really super common with any adult that goes missing. Now, I do think it would have triggered involvement because they found blood, right away at the scene, and it turned out to be her blood. So I do think that would have gotten people involved. But this technology, when they first looked at the devices in the Guthrie home there in the crime scene, they couldn't see anything on the Nest footage because she didn't have that subscription. And the FBI, they actually did not have the technology that was able. They actually had to go to the sources, and there were 4 different private vendors that helped retrieve this. So it is hard to retrieve. And you do have to go around a lot of privacy laws because, as we're learning, Big Brother's watching all the time and has all this video on us. And so we don't want it to be easily, accessible to people unless it's like an extreme circumstance. Like
if you get murdered, I think that would be an extreme circumstance. Because I think they can even do it in divorce cases. They, I don't know if you have to give permission for it, but they can get a warrant or something, or a subpoena or something.
A judge can order
phone records just in a divorce.
Yeah.
And they can. I think we learned a lot of that in the Boston.
Or in my life.
Well, yes.
We're talking about divorce. We're talking about murder.
Both.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I wasn't going to reference
it's
your life
basically the same.
Yeah, right, same.
I was going to just kind of keep it to true crime. But the cop that was killed with. We learned that they were able to subpoena the phone record or phone texts and stuff, but it wasn't just on your phone bill.
No, they can't just get it. Like, you had to be subpoenaed or had to be court ordered, right? Is that right, Lisa?
Yeah, like in the Karen Reed case.
Karen Reed, that's it.
And they played all those voicemails of her just screaming at him, and I think that, I don't think they got those directly from his phone. I think they had to subpoena those from the phone company. Yeah.
So nothing we do is ever really erased.
No, it's not.
No. And also, I was thinking, what an advertisement for Nest.
Right.
Where, right now, if you own a Nest and you don't pay for the subscription, this is a great reason why you should.
You should. We got it anyway. And then also, I was just thinking about my thing. Do I pay for my Ring thing? I'm not sure if I do.
I don't know if, I have an alarm, and it saves the videos. After a certain amount of time, it deletes it.
Yeah. Maybe since you have the active alarm, it comes with the footage or something.
Well, Lisa, so your expert opinion is that you think with this evidence that came out last night that this is going to be an avalanche of activity in the next day or two.
Oh, I think we're going to, I think it's all going to, there's going to be a bombshell. And I think, you don't mobilize SWAT teams and bomb squads unless you think you've got a hostage situation that you're on top of. And so I think, and the fact that, and I still think they're really looking at the brother-in-law, because they said, several people described the FBI activity in the Annie Guthrie neighborhood and house in the last 24 hours as swarming with investigators. So, they don't do that unless there's something up.
It's the mouth.
Can I ask you something about that, Lisa? So let's say, because early on, we had the report that they were looking at the brother-in-law, right? Are all of these updates things they're giving to the family? I mean, are they keeping Savannah and Annie and Cameron all with all the news, or are they kind of keeping them in the dark too, that maybe it's the brother-in-law?
Because it could be the possible suspect, right?
I mean, do they know these things?
I think it's probably a hybrid. I think that they know a lot of it, and they know what we're seeing. But I think that there's probably details that even they don't know. And I think that last video that Savannah did had hidden messages and had hidden meaning, because I think she was coached to do that, to in a very particular way speak to the kidnapper and get them, I think, to check the Bitcoin account. And I think that was staged, I think, big time. I think the earlier ones were just purely them, making these pleas. But I think that last one was purposeful and staged. So I think the family's definitely, and how awkward is it if you know that they're looking at, at Tommaso. You know, how awkward is that
I know.
in the family situation? And if it's never solved, and they never, which sometimes happens, right? If it is never actually solved, how awkward is it going forward around him?
You'd be nervous to stay by yourself with him. But I think, again, this is a high profile case because she's a celebrity, and many times when it's this high profile, like even like for the shooter, like for the instance, the shooter from the building and the Trump thing, or the other shooter there, they put everything into it. The normal person, I don't think they would do this.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably a little extra because it's a famous person for sure. And in today's world, you just don't, I mean, the digital footprint is everywhere. Now, this neighborhood, I will say, I'd mentioned the other day that they're going to go door to door. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter because there's so much of that like Arizona Drive, whatever, like shrub looking stuff that grows up everywhere, brush and stuff, that you can't really see door to door. I mean, like I saw a really neat vantage point that a reporter did where he said, you would think all these people, he was showing all the cameras that people have on their houses, but he said that only shows their property, that it cannot see through all of that brush. So they're not going to get anything from that.
But if somebody, for instance, the camera triggered and they might see a car, they might see something that leads.
Oh yeah. Well, you're going to leave a digital footprint, and people don't realize how often your license plate is read as you drive around.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a good point, Lisa.
They're looking at that, I'm sure.
Yeah, you brought that up, and I saw that on one report was this neighborhood is, again, very rural, and the houses Katie mentioned off there are very pretty much spread apart, but very rural, and there's only one or two ways to get in and out. And then at 2 a.m. or 1:45 or 1:40, if the person's driving to this area, they show this intersection that like you almost have to go through where there's 5 cameras, like traffic cams.
Oh,
so they're saying they're using that information too. So at that time of night, on that night, there's going to be very few people coming through that area.
And they'll search every single car that they can find. If it's one of those ones that give you tickets, they can actually see the license plate. They can see the person. They're going to search every single car that went through.
Yeah,
and they might even search days before because they might think that this is a thing that he was scoping out.
Absolutely. All right, Lisa, you're great. Thanks for helping us break this down. I know there'll be more updates as this goes. If you're ever injured, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com.
Hopefully we talk to Lisa again soon when it's been solved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully.